Hi there guys, so I'm doing another video now of me making some wax melts. Going to talk you through how I go about doing it and a nice little tip in this video of how to not waste any wax or any fragrance. Obviously fragrance is our most expensive ingredient that goes into our wax melt, so wasting that is can be quite costly. I'm going to make a small batch and it's just going to be 6 clamshells. Each of these clamshells holds 80 grams of content. And the key word there is content, because content includes the wax going into it and also the fragrance going into each clamshell. So that's an important point. So the content is an important point. The reason it's an important point is because you don't want to be wasting your fragrance or wax at the end. So this particular fragrance today, in this example, I'm going to be using Peony and Blush Suede, and it's from Randall's Candles, this particular one. This one I find works the best in this scent for me from this supplier. Anyway, to save on wasting fragrance or wax, I've got a top tip for this video, and it is to use an app, which is an app that calculates how much wax and fragrance combined together would give you the total amount of content to go into, in this case, 6 clamshells, and not have any wastage. The key point there is not have any wastage. Obviously the fragrance oil was quite expensive, so we don't want to be throwing any of that away, and also the wax as well. So I'll show you now what that app is. It's an app called Candle Calculator, so you can download that app. I'm going to show you here how it works. I've already put the measurements in, but I'll just take that out quickly now so you can see me using it. Right, so this is how it would work. First of all, obviously that wouldn't be there, that'd be 0, 0. But yeah, so what you do need to do is work out your total weight. So total weight would be the clamshells, which I know hold 80 grams each. So 80 grams times 6 equals 480. So you put your total net weight in here. So 480, and then also put in what percentage of oil you want to use. Now I'm going to be using this at 9%, so you just put in 9, and then it calculates here how much wax you need to the percentage of oil you're going to need, which is in this case I'm only going to need to measure out 440 grams of wax and 39.633 grams of oil, which would give me a total combined weight of 480, which is the total amount I can pour into these 6 here clamshells and not have any wastage. Yes, that's a brilliant little tip. So it's a brilliant little app, actually, to be honest. You can work this out on a piece of paper, but when you've got an app like this that does it all for you within seconds, it's worth having, and it's free. So that's Candle Calculator app. So I've measured out my my wax already. So that's over here. See there, that's 440 grams of wax. That's unmelted wax, I haven't melted it yet. And I'm going to measure out, whilst I put my wax on the hob, that's going to start melting. I'm going to measure out my 39.63 grams of oil. So I'm going to use this at a 9%. But whatever percent you want to use, just put that into the app and it'll do the calculation for you and tell you how much to measure out. So yes, it's a brilliant little app. I use it all the time because it saves on wastage. Okay, so I'm going to measure out my oil now. So it's 39.63 grams. I needed that. Put on my container. Take the scales down to 0, so it takes off the weight of the container. And then I use a big pipette to get that out of the container. So just one of these big long pipettes, and just put it in the top. Yeah, just measure it out. So this is what I find is the easiest way to measure out the oil. It's very precise as well. It's just, next to no spillage because you're not tipping the container. And yep, just get out the right amount. So this is a lovely scent, this one. I really like this one, Pinion Blush. So it's nearly there. So I'm doing mine at 9%. 39.63 is what we need. And if we put too much in, we can just take it out, use the pipette. For example, I'll show you. So we're nearly there now. So there, look, I've put a little bit too much in. I'm very precise with my oil. So for example, I want to use the right amount. Put your pipette in, pull it out, and there you go. Bang, look at that, right on there. That'll do, I'm happy with that, 39.63, there you go. The exact figure. So the wax I use for all of my wax melts is the Keurig Kerasoy Pillar Wax 4120. Link in the description below of where to buy this at the best price. I've got the wax all melted down now. I'm going to add some colour to this one, so it's going to be a light pink colour, not a strong pink, so I don't want it too much. I'm just using some dye chips to go in this. So just some flake dye chips, not too much. I don't want it too strong. I should add a little bit more. Obviously this is all for experimental. Nothing's going to go wrong if it's a little bit darker. It's all up to you. Every batch is going to be slightly different. Anyway, that's enough in there now. I've got to give that a nice stir. See it melting straight away. So with your dye chips, you want to put them in straight away as soon as you've got your wax melted to the temperature. So I've melted this to 75 degrees. I've brought it down now, so say it's dropped down a degree or two. Put the dye chips, whether it be liquid form or chip form, block form, whatever kind of dye you've got, put that in straight away, and then hold off on your fragrance, adding your fragrance oil till it gets to the right temperature. And I've said it in a couple of videos before, the temperature you add your fragrance oil to your liquid wax is all for experimental, so you've got to practice and find out what's the best sort of temperature. I'm going to be adding this fragrance oil today at 67 degrees, and I'll know that by using one of these. This is a temperature gauge, so you just click and shoot, so just aim it at the wax. It reads the surface temperature, that is now at 71, so I don't want to add my fragrance oil yet. 67 degrees is what I'm going to be adding it in today. So that's all, that chip dye is now melted in, and the wax has got a nice light pink colour. It looks very reddish at the minute, but when it cools down it goes pink. You'll see that a little bit later. I've got one here actually from another batch. So you see it's gone a nice pinky colour, but yeah, you'll see these ones when these ones cool down. So keep taking the temperature so it doesn't cool down too much. It's now 65, but that's on the edge. You want to be taking your temperature in the middle. So see, in the middle it's at 69. If you take it on the edge, it's going to be a lot cooler. So it's getting close now. So whilst that's dropping down another degree or two, I'm just going to warm up my dispenser. So that's nice and warmed up. Just about to see that in shot now. I'm just using a heat gun. A couple of seconds, just warming it up on the inside so it flows through nicely. Take the temperature now. There you go, 67.9, so I'm happy with adding it at that now. That will do. Right, oil's going in. Hold it for a second to get all the oil out. That's good enough. Right, now stir for minimum, absolute minimum 30 seconds, absolute minimum. If not, up to a couple of minutes. It all depends what temperature you're adding to and the temperature you want to be pouring. So when I'm pouring this out, I'm going to be pouring probably at 64 degrees. I don't need to take the temperature now. But when I'm using a chopstick to stir, I don't want to be putting too much air into the wax because it causes sinkholes. So you can stir fast, but try not to cause any frothing. Don't try not to get too much air into the mix, into the wax. Right, so good enough now. I'll just clean off the chopstick. Right, so everything's prepared. I've got my containers here. Move them over a bit. Right, so just pour all of that in. All go straight in. Just wipe off the drips. Right, now straight into pouring. So using these dispensers, this makes life so much easier. So I fill mine right to the brim, so I know that it's filled up to 80 grams worth. And with our measurements that we've done in this mixture, we should have exactly enough to fill up 6 of these containers. And if we've measured it right, this one should fill just to the top, which it does perfectly. You can see in there's only a little bit left, so that's minimal wastage. A couple of these just to top up to the top. And that is it. Literally only a couple of grams left over in there, but it's no need to worry about that. And those are going to cool down now. So they look very reddish at the minute, but when they cool down, they'll go a nice pink colour. So if you get any air bubbles on top, like that one there, it's an air bubble, just give it a blow, and you see it goes away. That takes out a little pimple hole on top. When that cools down with that air bubble on top still, there'll be a pimple, a hole. It's only a tiny one, but if you want to avoid it, that's a couple of bubbles there, just blow the bubbles away. Then it'll be a nice smooth top to finish with. The wax melts have just cooled down now, so they've come out this beautiful pink colour, as you can see. So that's a lovely colour they've come out. They're all perfectly finished on the surface. See, they're flat as anything, no sinkholes where it dips down a little bit, so it's not flat. But if you use the right wax and you melt to the right temperatures, then yeah, you can get beautiful finished products like these. So again, the link for the wax, where to buy it from, is in the description below. Click on that, take you straight there. Yeah, it's a lovely one. So that's about it really for this video. It's not really much else to say. But yeah, just hope you're enjoying the videos. Please do like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Really helps me, gives me the motivation to do more videos. I'll try and do some more videos very soon. Some different scents, some more tips obviously. And yeah, hopefully you've learned something from this video and show me some appreciation and subscribe. Okay, I thought I'd show you how easily the Curacao pillar wax comes out of the packaging and breaks up. So as a wax used for wax melts, how easy it comes out of the container. This is done in a nice pink colour. This is my Pinion blush. I'll be using this one for myself, so nothing's ever wasted. You see how easy it just pops out there? Doesn't stick to the containers at all. A lot of the waxes made specific for wax melts, so Eco Melt really sticks to the containers, and it's a real pain to get out of the containers. One of the reasons why I didn't really like that wax, and it doesn't really give any better scent throw. In fact, maybe not even as good as the Curacao Pillar Wax. Again, that's another reason why this is the only wax I ever use, for wax melts that is, not for candles. Open the packaging, and just a light push, and you see there, look, it's already out. So it doesn't stick to the sides of the containers. Looks lovely. Next to no frosting, hardly ever, as long as it's melted correctly, and you go through the steps that I've talked about already, and it breaks nice and easily. So such an easy wax to use for wax melts, for making wax melts. Oops. Again, like no effort at all. It's the perfect wax in my opinion for wax melts. That's lovely. Put that in your melter, and yeah, nice little sections.